So what's good, y'all? We back with another video. And obviously last video we talked about the Eastern Conference and gave the standing predictions 1 through 15. And obviously with what comes with that is the Western Conference standing predictions. Basically going to do the same format, start from the bottom, go all the way up to the top. Give a little brief summary as to why each team is in the spot that they're in. So let's get right into it. Starting off at number 15, the San Antonio Spurs. Now the Spurs, it's obvious what they're trying to do. They are in the running for Victor Wembanyama. They are clearly tanking. They traded DeJounte Murray away to Atlanta, and they got 3 picks in return. Now, they still got some decent talent. They got Keldon Johnson, who's pretty good. They got Devin Vassell, who I think will break out a little more with Murray being out of the picture. They got Josh Primo, who is still really young. You know, they got some nice talent, but this team is not going to be good. Very young team. Quite obvious what the main goal is for this front office and for the direction of this organization. So San Antonio, I think, will finish with the worst record in the Western Conference. Now, number 14, I got the Houston Rockets. And this team is trending upward. They got some really good young players. They got Jalen Green. They got Jabari Smith, who they drafted 3rd. Sengun. They got others, Tari Eason and all these other guys, right? But kind of in the same category as San Antonio, a really young team. They got a lot of things to figure out, and they're in a tough Western Conference where you're playing the Denver Nuggets 4 times, the Golden State Warriors 4 times. You're not going to win a lot of games. So I expect this team to finish in the bottom of the West at 14. But I think it'll be a lot of positives that come with this season for the Houston Rockets and the progression that they get from their young players. Now, at number 13, I got the Utah Jazz. And with the whole Donovan Mitchell trade saga finally being over and them sending Rudy Gobert to Minnesota as well, this is another team that's pretty similar to San Antonio. It's clear what they want. They want that number 1 pick. Now, they got Colin Sexton, they got Taylor Horn-Tucker, they got other young players on the roster. Obviously, they're going to trade away Bogdanovich, Clarkson, and Conley. This team is looking to tank. Now, Colin Sexton, I think, will have a really good year considering he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. But the Jazz are just not going to win games. I expect them to finish within like 26 wins, 25 wins, and they'll finish 13th in the Western Conference, in my opinion. Now, number 12, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, I was really excited for this Thunder team before the Chet Holmgren injury. Now, I'm a little less excited, but they still got some good young players. They got SGA, who's coming back, Josh Giddey for year 2. They got the Jalen Williams, both Jalen Williams that they have on the roster. They got some players. Now, this team, once again, kind of like Houston. They're in the same boat as Houston. Really young, but they're just not going to win a lot of games just off the fact they're not ready to win those games yet. They're going to make some progress, though. And I think they're trending more upward than Houston is. Or maybe I'll say they're on the same level. I'm not going to say they're trending more upward. But they're kind of on the same direction. OKC, they're going to suck this year, but I think they'll make some progress next season with Chet coming back. And you consider the fact that they got a lot of picks. They're probably going to have another top 10 pick in this draft. So I expect some big things for OKC in the future. Just not this season. Now, number 11, we kind of start to get into this little missing the play-in kind of talks where I got Sacramento. I got Sacramento missing the play-in by 2 games. I got Sacramento winning 36 games, going 36-46. They're an improved roster. I'm excited to see what Davion Mitchell looks like in year 2. They got Kevin Werder. They got the guys from the Atlanta trade that they made. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis is still there. Harrison Barnes is still there. This team defensively should be a little more better now. Offensively, they should be better as well. But once again, they're kind of like, they're not even in the middle ground. I don't know where they're at. Like, they're close to being like a mediocre team, but they're just like slightly below that. And I got them finishing 11th because of that reason. Like, they're a good team, or not a good team. They're just, yeah, they're the Kings. I don't know. It's no shot towards them. I don't expect them to win a lot of games. I think they'll finish with like 36, 35 wins, and they'll miss the play-in barely. Now we get into the play-in picture. Starting off at number 10, I got the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, if you have high expectations for this team, that's on you. But I don't. I don't think this team is a playoff team. I think they make the play-in, they get bumped, and that's it. They got LeBron, they got AD, they got Russ. The rest of the team is pretty bad. And the health of AD LeBron is in major question because LeBron is getting older now and he's been missing games year after year now. And Anthony Davis is hurt 15 plus games every single season. Russell Westbrook, he stays relatively healthy, but his fit on this team is not good. So the Lakers are a big question mark. They're going to be a pretty bad team. I think they're going to be pretty ugly to watch. They got the talent to squeak into the play-in, but that's pretty much, I think, all the noise that they can make. Now, number 9, I got the Portland Trailblazers. And this team, to be honest, they need to go into a tank. They need to go into another tank year. They should just, to be honest, they should consider trading Damian Lillard away just for assets because they can get a lot for him. But they want to stay loyal, and Dame wants to return the loyalty. So they decided to, bring in Jeremy Grant, and they got Joe Ingles and Josh Hart and all these other guys. And, Anthony Simons, I think he's going to have another good year for this team. This is a play-in team. This is what this is. They are not a playoff team. This is a play-in team. They're going to make it. They're going to get bumped. And that's it. And then I think it'll be a pretty interesting offseason for Portland after this year. Now, number 8, this is where it starts to get a little more better now. These are where the teams start to level up. I got the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans look pretty good. You got Zion Williamson returning. Last time we saw him, he was 20 years old, and he was an all-star. You got Brandon Ingram, who's coming off a really good year. CJ McCollum is a leader for his team, and he can score. It's not like he's just a leader that, is just being a mentor. He's also a really good player. You got all the other young players on the roster. You got Jose Alvarado, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. They got some good young pieces on this roster, and I think this is just the beginning of the New Orleans Pelicans, rise to playoff team, I guess you can call it. I don't know. I'll come up with a better name later, but you know what I mean. This team is getting really good, but baby steps. I think they'll be the 8th seed again, but it's not a bad thing because I think they'll have a better year in general. Last year, they were the 8th seed by making the play-in and winning a couple games to get there. This year, I think they'll finish as the 8th seed and just hold on into that spot. Now, number 7, I got the Dallas Mavericks. And this team, I got them close to winning 50 games. I got them 49-33. But, to be honest, Dallas losing Jalen Brunson kind of hurts. Obviously, they added Christian Wood. But Dallas just doesn't give me championship contender vibes. At best, this team can make another Western Conference Finals appearance off the back of Luka. Just, how good he is. But in all reality, this team is full of a bunch of mediocre to slightly above mediocre players. And then you got Luka Doncic, who's a superstar. And that's why they'll finish with the record that I have them with. But I don't see anything special. I think they're just a good regular season team. Maybe they can win a round. Maybe 2, but at best they win the first round matchup. But even then, when you're the number 7 seed playing a number 2 seed, probably not going to win any round. So I think I got a really low ceiling for this team when it comes to playoff expectations. I got Dallas at number 7. Now, number 6, I got the Minnesota Timberwolves with the same record as Dallas, but obviously win the tiebreaker, so they make it to the playoffs. They are a top 6 seed. And obviously, they added Rudy Gobert. They got Karl-Anthony Towns, who's one of the best bigs in the game. He's sliding over to the power forward spot. And I think it'll benefit him because he kind of does play like a stretch 4 a lot of the time. You got Anthony Edwards, who I think should take the keys for this team if they want to have a higher ceiling. You got D'Angelo Russell, who should have a bounce back year, didn't really shoot efficiently. Maybe he can rise that up, especially with the attention that Edwards and Towns and, him and Gobert in the pick and roll are going to get. And to be honest, the other guys on the roster are not too bad either. So I got them making the playoffs. I think Minnesota is a playoff team. They're not a championship contender, but they're getting better and better. And maybe as the years go on, we'll see what happens. Now we're getting into the top 5 now. We got the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are number 5 because I don't think they're going to start the year off as hot as they did last year. And mainly because Jaren Jackson Jr. is out. He is one of the best shot blocking bigs in the game, one of the best defensive bigs in the game. And he's also a scorer for this team. So him being out hurts them. Obviously, they got a lot of depth, but not the same when you're missing him. Obviously, you got John Morant, Desmond Bane, all these other guys. This team's going to be good. In the playoffs, they can make some real noise. But in the regular season, I think they'll just make the playoffs. 50-32 is what I have them right now. And that's a pretty successful season. Now, considering where they were last year, it'd be a disappointment. But it's fine as long as they make the playoffs and they can compete. It's pretty much like that. If they make the playoffs, anything can happen for this team, in my opinion. Now, number 4, I got the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers are healthy, and they're back. And they added John Wall, who's better than Reggie Jackson when healthy. You slide Reggie Jackson down to the bench. This team is extremely deep. And you got Kawhi Leonard, who's a top 5, top 10 player in the game when healthy. Paul George, who's a top 15 kind of player when healthy. This team is really good. This team right here is a championship contender. But the thing is, the health always gets in the way of this Clippers team. And if they can't stay healthy, then they can't win a championship. But as for regular season, they are a top 4 seed in my opinion for sure, if all things go right. And it's pretty obvious that this team is built to win right now. Now, number 3, I got the Phoenix Suns. The Suns are going to take a little fall. I don't see them winning 60 games. I got them at 54-28, which is still a really good year. They got basically the same roster. That's pretty much why I think they'll have a good team anyways, because the chemistry is still there. You got Chris Paul, you got Devin Booker, you got DeAndre Ayton who's coming back. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, they're finishing at number 3. Don't really have much else to say about this team. They can win the title, but the Chris Paul curse always gets in the way. So we'll see what happens with the Suns. Should be a pretty interesting year. I think they'll be a little more slept on during this season compared to last year, especially after the Luka Doncic massacre that happened last playoffs. Now, number 2, I got the Golden State Warriors, the defending champions at 56-26, number 2 seed. And probably because of the fact that they're not going to take the regular season as hard as the team that I have above them. The Warriors are just going to go out there. They're going to coast. They know what the end goal is. Kind of like how I said for Milwaukee in the East. They're just going to coast. They're going to finish top 2, 56-26. Steph Curry's going to be the best point guard in the game. Klay Thompson, I want to see between him and Jordan Poole who has the better year, because Klay Thompson, obviously, he's coming into shape, trying to get back to where he was before he got hurt. And Jordan Poole's getting better and better, and he's still extremely young. So maybe one day we'll see Jordan Poole starting at the 2, but I don't think it'll happen out of respect for Klay Thompson. That's something I'm really interested in, though. But this team, the bench, extremely young. They got talent, but they're extremely young, so we'll see what happens. I need to see what happens with that bench. But besides that, the Warriors are the Warriors. The system is the best in basketball. Steve Kerr is one of the best coaches in the game. And when you got Steph Curry, you're a championship contender with whoever's on the floor. Now, at number 1, I got the Denver Nuggets, the best team in the Western Conference, in my opinion. Now, when I'm not talking about championship favorites, because my championship favorite is Golden State. Golden State is the championship favorite until proven otherwise. But Denver, I think, will take the regular season a little more seriously, show that they're back. Jamal Murray's looking for something to prove. Michael Porter Jr., same thing. Nikola Jokic, back-to-back MVPs. Looking to see if he could win a 3rd one. I don't think it happens, but he'll be in the running. And then the rest of the roster is pretty good as well. I think Denver is going to be a really good team, and I think they're a Western Conference Finals team. Like, they can make the finals, I'm saying. But I think they'll be in the Western Conference Finals. I don't know if they'll face Golden State. I don't know if they face the Clippers, the Suns, but I think they will be in the Western Conference Finals this year. That's something that I am predicting for this team. Team's going to be really good, really fun to watch, and they're not going to lose a lot. So I got the Nuggets missing the 60 win mark, barely, 59-23, and they are my best team in the Western Conference heading into the 2022-2023 NBA campaign. Anyways, that's going to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Link will be down in the description below. This has been the Checkup, where we talk hoops and hoops only. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.